Hi, this is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. Recently I lost both my parents within 2 months of each other. And my parents had lived in a house that we grew up in and they had lived in for over 55 years. So you can imagine, this when they both passed away, it was a very emotional time and we had to clear out the house. So I have a few tips for some of you who may be going through this too. I've written a blog post on this, practical tips for cleaning out your deceased parents' home. These are some things which I discovered when I had to do it. I know that there's many of you out there that have to do it too. It can be a very difficult thing, especially if it's like, what happened to us is that we had to, clear it out within a short period of time. We actually cleared it out quite quickly because of the fact that we're worried about squatters coming in. So, it ended up being quite a process to clear out a house of 55 years. So here's a few tips that I have for clearing out, your deceased parents, or if you have other relatives' homes. First of all is start with the less personal areas. It does become hard to go through everything, especially with a lot of memories. If you're dealing with other people, I had 5 sisters, brother-in-laws, nieces, nephews. You have others there. Emotions can get high at times. Different people deal with grief in different ways. And so, sometimes if you start with the less personal areas first, it can help you to be able to, to get, kind of get started on it. Because it can be overwhelming at times, to go through some of the volumes of paper. I know this because when we cleared out my dad's desk drawer, there was every single instruction manual for every single electrical appliance he had bought in the last 20 years. There was just a drawer full of them. Then another drawer, he had written down all of his weight for every single day, going back for years. He wrote down every single day how much he weighed. He weighed himself every single day. So go through the less personal areas first. The other thing is rent a dumpster. We rented a dumpster. We ended up having 2 dumpsters that went, but having a dumpster right outside the house sure does make it easy. And it really is worthwhile to rent a dumpster. It, we had to knock things down, break some things down, but it really made a difference and made it easier to dispose of things. Donate, but choose wisely. Donations are getting a lot more picky these days. We found out Goodwill was a lot more picky. I think a lot of things we donated to them, they probably end up throwing in the dumpster. But, so they don't take everything these days, but make sure you choose wisely in what you're going to donate. Sell items of value, but not important. If there's items of value that nobody wants, then go ahead and sell them. Sorting is the key. Learn to sort through stuff. Sort through things, go through things, such as, we found items of significant and financial value, such as, old Nazi memorabilia. My dad had an old Nazi gun, or old money or stamps. So, you need to sort through things because, if you don't sort through things, you might be throwing away things that you think are not important. One of my sisters just said, well, why don't we just hire someone to come in and do this? And we're like, yeah, but they don't know what's of value and what's not. We need to sort through stuff. So really, you need to do it yourself and go through and sort through everything so you don't throw away things that are of value or important family papers. Let go of what you don't need. If you don't need it, let go of it. Recycle electronics. We found a company that allowed us to recycle electronics. And we had to pay them some to take some of the electronics for them to recycle, but it was well worth it, so we were able to get rid of some of the older electronics. We also found a way to give some books a new life. We went to a bookstore that sold discount or used books, and we went in there with a whole bunch of books we had. We didn't get much money for it, but at least the books are able to now be given a new life. We set a time limit. We kind of decided that we had to finish this within this amount of time. Many of us were on a schedule. So because we had a time limit, we actually got some things done. Understand that this is an emotional journey, that it's not going to be easy, that different people, like we said, are going to handle it very differently. So this is an emotional journey for everybody. But one of my last tips that I want to say is, for many people, they can feel very sentimental and, you can keep a lot of junk you don't need. I live overseas, so I really had to decide, what am I going to keep? So I kind of set a storage limit for myself and said, here's what I'm willing to pay for storage. Here's what I'm willing to keep. And, so I became quite picky about what I was going to keep. And I'm glad that I did that, because now I'm not paying hundreds of dollars each month to keep a lot of things that I don't need or I don't want. And I'm really only keeping the things that I want. So, maybe set a limit for yourself on exactly what you're going to take, and then try to give other things a new life. We're going to put a link for this blog post on this if you'd like to be able to read more about this. Practical tips for clearing out your deceased parents' home. I realize there's a lot of things that people end up going through. It's something which I've recently gone through, and I know that it can actually be quite difficult to do. But if you handle it right, and if you follow some of these steps to help you, make the journey hopefully a little bit easier. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you and appreciate you being part of our community. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or, reach out to us. And we'd love to have you subscribe and be part of our community. Thank you.